So first of all, Happy New Year everyone. I hope you had a wonderful start to 2018. I had an amazing New Year's Eve with some very amazing people. I'm actually pretty excited for 2018. I've never been one to be excited for a new year and be like, new year, new me, but I'm genuinely excited for 2018 and what's to come in my life, which I might talk about in another video. I might do another coffee chat. So I will be talking about my favorite books of 2017. 2017 was a weird reading year for me. I started off really strong. Since summer of 2017, my reading has just not been good. I haven't been reading a lot. I haven't been in the mood for a lot of books or just reading in general. I was still reading, but not as much. I kept having reading slumps where I just didn't read anything for a week or 2 weeks. Didn't read anything in November. And after a while I realized that had to do with my mental health, which hasn't been too great. But I'm working on that and I am kind of getting back into reading. Enough rambling though. I do have some favorite books that I read in 2017 and I'm going to talk about those now. These will not be in any order except for the last book, which is my top favorite of 2017, but all the others just kind of intertwine. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Morning Star by M. Chandler. This is book 1 in the Shadow of the Templar series, which I read over the summer. It's a male-male romance slash action-y series. It's about an FBI agent and an art thief whose paths keep crossing and they get together. The first book was so much fun. I started reading this series because of Bex. She kept talking about it on Twitter. This is a self-published series. You can get the ebooks on Amazon for pretty cheap. I started reading the first book, The Morning Star, and I became obsessed. I thought this was going to be another Foxhole Court situation, and if you know me, you know I am obsessed with the Foxhole Court. I read it 2 years ago and I still am not okay. And when I read The Morning Star, I thought it was gonna be another situation like that because I became so obsessed with these characters. Sadly though, the rest of the series was quite disappointing. But still, that first book just holds a special place in my heart because it had been a while since a book made me feel the same way like the Foxhole Court did. So that is why The Morning Star is one of my favorites from 2017. I didn't think I would enjoy The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli as much as I ended up doing. I had a feeling I would like it, but I did not think that I would love it as much as I did. This book is about Molly, who crushes on people a lot. She never tells the people that she likes them. Molly is afraid of rejection, so she just doesn't tell people when she likes them. There were moments in this book where I could see myself in Molly in regards to how she felt in like friend groups, and I can't recall everything right now, but I related to Molly on so many levels. This was just such a wonderful story, so beautiful, so cute, so Becky Albertalli. An obvious favorite, and I'm sure this book has made it on other people's favorites list, The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. This book was just incredible and so moving and so powerful, and everyone needs to read it. It was inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's about Star, who witnesses her childhood best friend getting shot by a police officer and just the repercussions of that and how she deals with it. I don't have anything else to say except everyone needs to read this. Yeah, there's also a movie coming out for this. I'm not sure if it comes out this year, but they have started filming. Maybe they've already finished filming, I don't know, but I'm excited for the movie. Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. Jen Bennett is one of my favorite authors, and I was super excited for her new YA novel, which is about Bailey, who's been messaging this guy Alex online. They're both into films. They don't know like real names or whatever because Bailey has her reasons to keep certain things secret, and when she moves to California to live with her dad, she is trying to figure out who Alex is, who actually lives in the same town as her dad does, and she wants to find out who Alex actually is without him knowing that she's there. And while she's out searching for Alex, she meets Porter, and those two get closer, and it was wonderful. I just love the way that Jen Bennett writes her characters, the way they interact and talk to each other, and just the banter and the dialogue between them. It's just so good and so much fun. This book's actually inspired or kind of similar to the movie You've Got Mail, which I haven't seen, but I guess is quite popular. So if you like that movie, definitely consider checking out this book. I feel like 2017 was the year of contemporaries, at least for me. I read a lot of good contemporaries. I just realized there's not one fantasy book on my favorites list. Did I not read a good fantasy book last year? I mean, I read some good ones, but none that were actually like favorites, I guess. That's sad. Fantasy is my favorite genre. Anyway, moving on to How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake, another wonderful contemporary story. This one is about Grace, who has a quite troubling relationship with her mom. And at the beginning of this book, her mom actually decides to move in with one of her new boyfriends, and Grace has to tag along, and she's not very happy. And while she's in that situation, she meets Eva, who lost her mom, and these two get closer and fall in love, and it's so beautiful. Eva is a lesbian and Grace is bisexual, and these two just form the most wonderful relationship. It was so beautiful. I cannot wait to read more books by Ashley Herring Blake. The only book that is not contemporary on this list is Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is book 3 in the Diviner series. It's a paranormal series. Since this is book 3, I can't really say a lot about this book. The Diviner series is about these teenagers that have supernatural powers. For example, one of our main characters, Evie, she can look into an object's past, or the owner's past. Then we have another character, Memphis, who is a healer. We have Sam, who can make himself disappear in front of people or not have them see him. And they kind of find each other throughout these books and are trying to figure out why they have these powers. It takes place in 1920s New York. I listened to the audiobooks of this series, and honestly, I love them so much. The narrator, January Lavoie, I think her name is, she does such an amazing job at voicing these characters. Every time I listen to these books, I feel like I'm listening to 10 different people. She does such a good job at giving each character their own voice. It just makes the listening experience so much more fun. And what I especially love about the series is that it just gets more and more diverse. And Libba Bray does such an amazing job at making it feel real and not like she's just shoving a bunch of diversity into this book. It still feels true to the story. Sarah from Sarah Without an H actually also said that in her favorites video. I will link it down below. Spoiler alert, she also put this book in her favorites list, and I just agreed with everything she said about this book, so definitely check it out. This series is just incredible. If you enjoy paranormal, please read it. The last 2 books I have to talk about, I know in the beginning I mentioned I have like one top favorite, but this other one is also very close behind that, and that would be We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. I also listened to the audiobook of this at the beginning of last year, so it's been like a year since I've listened to this, but I still think about it all the time. I don't know what this book did to me. This book is about Henry, who gets abducted by aliens from time to time, and he doesn't know why they get him all the time. But in his town, he is known as the kid that gets abducted by aliens, and he's kind of teased for that. And these aliens actually give him the choice to press a big red button that will save the Earth from destruction. But since Henry has been in a very bad place mentally after his boyfriend killed himself, he's not so sure if he actually wants to press that button. This book was so moving, and it made me cry so much. I listened to a lot of this on my way to work several times. This book made me cry before work, and I had to like calm myself down before I went inside. I cannot wait to reread this, hopefully in 2018. Okay, and the last book I have to talk about. Sadly, I don't have a physical copy yet, but it will happen hopefully soon. My favorite book of 2017, and actually also an all-time favorite, is Starfish by Ekami Dawn Bauman. This book was, it means so much to me. And again, this one kind of took me by surprise. I was excited for this before it came out. I was anticipating it. This book is about Kiko, who deals with a lot of things. She's trying to get into this certain art school, which she's actually rejected at. She has a very troubling relationship with her mom. It's actually quite toxic. She also deals with anxiety. And then when her uncle, who actually sexually abused her when she was younger, when he is moving back in with them, it's just a lot for her, which is understandable. Kiko also struggles with fitting in because she is Japanese American. Her dad doesn't live with them anymore, and she's just going through a lot. And then she meets her childhood best friend, who she actually had a crush on back then. She meets him again, and they reconnect. And this book was just an amazing story about self-discovery. What I loved so much about this book is that Kiko, even though there is a romance plot in this book, it's not the main focus, and especially when Kiko tries to get better, she doesn't rely on this romantic relationship to get better. She wants to get better by herself, and it was just so beautiful. I actually have a review up for this book, which I will link down below if you want to watch that. I related to Kiko so much on so many levels. It also opened my eyes to some certain things, which I will not talk about because they're quite personal, but this book just means so much to me, and I am so happy that it exists, and I am so sad that it did not get the hype that it deserved. More people need to read this book. Please read Starfish by Ekimi Dawn Bauman. It is so incredible, so beautiful. So those were my favorite books of 2017. I would love, love, love to know what your favorite books of 2017 were. Please tell me down below or come talk to me on Twitter. I do have a few more end of the year videos planned, which will come throughout the month. And that was it for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!